What's your favorite scary movie?
We have such sights to show you.
Ha! Monsters!
All you have left is my desire.
Fright! My name is Frankenstein!
Batman's got Mars!
Oh, no tears, please. It's a waste of good suffering.
See this? This is my boomstick!
I ate his liver with some fava beans. I screamed.
It's us.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
It's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
Here's Johnny.
I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm just gonna bash your brains.
There are certain rules that one must abide by in order to successfully survive a horror movie.
What's up, all you horror movie loving fuckers? Welcome back for another episode of the Fright Flick FMK podcast. And I know it's been a while, people. It's been almost probably 3 weeks, but had a lot of shit going on. A lot of just normal life shit. My wife had her family in town for a little while. She had some friends come down for a little while. Then most recently, our teenager had to have some surgery done. And so she was been in the hospital with that for almost, 4 or 5 days, but everything's good. Everything's good. But so yeah, we're finally back. Hopefully the time seems to be a little more freed up over the next several weeks. So I'm looking to get back into more regular weekly, shows hitting every week, possibly more than one. So you got to be on the lookout. So I'm retired now. I have plenty of time. And so be on the lookout. There will be just episodes popping up. I do already have lined up what I plan on doing for the next 2 episodes. One of the 2, we're actually going to have John back. If you've been around for a little while, if you've been part of the family for a little while, John's my younger brother. We do the show together a lot. And we're looking, if everything goes right, to hopefully next week do a show. And the movie we're going to be talking about is one I've had on my list wanting to do for a little while. But this one is by the Addams family, not the old, Addams family that you think of back, not that. But this movie that me and my brother are going to be doing is going to be Where the Devil Roams. And that's going to be one coming up. And that one you can actually watch for free over on Tubi. So if you haven't checked it out, go check it out. But yeah, Where the Devil Roams is coming up. And then I have one from Eric Stantz that I've been wanting to do called Ratline. I have it right here. So that one, as far as I'm tracking, Ratline, I think it's on Amazon. You may have to rent it. Not really sure. But yeah, those are the next 2 I have in the shoot for what's coming up next. But this week's show, I say all the time, I always, if somebody hits me up through our Instagram at Fright Flick FMK, recommends a movie or something like that, if I haven't covered it, I'm more than willing to check a movie out and get on here and talk some shit about it. And so this movie, someone reached out to me through Instagram and recommended this movie and asked me if I would be willing to watch it and possibly review it, do a show on it. And, I was like, hell yeah, because I'd never heard of it. And so it's something new that I haven't seen. And it was, anything horror related, I fucking love it. And so, and independent, we all love some independent horror around here, family. But, so yeah, they reached out to me and asked me if I would watch it. And it took me a little while to get to it, and so I was finally able to sit down and get to watch it. And here we are now doing a show on it. I hope everybody's had a good last 2 or 3 weeks. I haven't been around on here much, but I hope everybody's doing good. We're in the middle of that summertime season and I fucking hate it. I hate summertime. I can't wait till it's in the rearview mirror. I hate summer. Can't wait for winter. But I know it's just been I hate summertime. But yeah, hope everybody's doing good. I appreciate everybody who has, you know, followed along, who watches this shit show. Who, if you have subscribed to the YouTube channel, I appreciate it. We do a video version of this show, also podcast version. You know, you can listen to us on all your normal podcasting platforms, but video version on YouTube is free, people, to go like and subscribe and follow along. Don't cost you a damn thing. You know, I appreciate it. It's free to leave comments. I welcome comments. I welcome any kind of comments. Um, Good, bad. Tell me I fucking suck. You know, I got thick skin. You ain't gonna hurt my feelings. I promise you. I'll come on here and probably joke about it after I get the comments. But yeah, um, like, subscribe, follow along with us. We are a fucked up family, and we know we ain't for everybody. We not everybody's cup of tea, and that's okay. But there's a handful of you little sick fuckers out there that get down with us, and we appreciate it. The little Fright Flick family. Everybody, grab your drinks. If you're new to the show, we like to drink around here. When we do our shows, we prefer to have the alcohol with us. We do go better with the booze, but I'm always on here with my good buddy, Gentleman Jack, and so we're gonna take us a sip real quick, family. Gentleman Jack break. That's good stuff. Now, yeah. So if you're new to the show, just kind of follow along with everybody else is doing. Grab a chair, pull up. We're gonna talk some stuff about a horror movie. Now, if you're new to the show, you can read the title, Fright Flick FMK. That means we rate a movie on whether or not I'd rather fuck it, marry it, or kill it. Now, I'm not a serious person, so I like to joke. Nothing's off limits here. I've talked shit, cuss a lot, make fun of stuff. It's just the way we are here, not going to change. And so if bad language or any inappropriate jokes or whatever, gets your panties in a wad, then, appreciate you stopping by. There's the door. And, but yeah. But I love watching horror movies. I like getting on here and talking about them. I'm not an in-depth, fancy type of person that gets on here and reviews a horror movie. If you're looking for one of those, this ain't it. I like to have a good time with it. And one thing I will say on this show, I will never, ever, ever get on here and tell somebody to not watch a movie. I tell everybody to go watch any horror movie you can. Just watch them. It's horror, and I may get on here and just talk shit about a movie and just hate it and talk shit about it. But I'm still going to tell you to go watch it and have your own opinion of it. There's tons of movies I love that people think I am fucked in the head for enjoying certain movies. And there's movies that I hate that I feel sure people out there just love them. So that's, it is what it is. So no matter what I say on here, no matter whatever I say about a movie or whatever, don't listen to this thing, man. I'm not watching that movie. I want you to go watch it. Especially when it comes to independent films, independent directors, writers, the movies, support them. Go out there, show some fucking love for them. Because if you're like me, I can't make a movie. I don't have that in me. I don't have that ability. I don't have that. It's not in me to make a movie. So I respect, kudos to anybody out there that can make a movie, get their movie made, put it out there for all of us to watch and enjoy. So that's kind of how we roll here. And then when it's all said and done, I want to tell you if I'd rather fuck it, marry it, or kill it. And so, yeah, but this week, the movie that was recommended through Instagram to me is called As a Prelude to Fear, 2022 flick. And I want to give you the little IMDb read on this thing. When a young girl called Eve gets kidnapped and imprisoned in a dungeon-like basement, the police believe it is the work of the notorious Pied Piper. And so, and when it comes to movies, I don't watch trailers of movies. And unless it's one that comes across on TV, the big money Hollywood big ones, those trailers you just come across them. But when it comes to the movies like this, if I'm scrolling on Tubi or Amazon or Shudder or whatever, I don't go watching trailers. I don't go looking for reviews of what people say until after I watch it. That's just how I am. I like being surprised, so I had no clue anything about this movie. When it was recommended, I found it on Amazon. I hit up the person that recommended that, screenshot it. Hey, is this the movie? And they're like, yep, that's it. I'm like, okay. And that's all I knew going into it. So independent, and I'm all for it. Like if it's independent filmmakers, you're the best. Favorite genre. Love it. So I'm always excited when I get a chance to watch independent films. And so this one, like I said, girl gets kidnapped into a dungeon type thing. So, and this was, I didn't even read IMDb before watching the movie. I've watched the movie, and then anything I've looked at as far as the trailer, summaries of it, is after I had seen it. But as I started watching it, I always do a few notes on the notepad on like my Apple phone. I do like to talk to text. And so I'll just literally be talking to it. And as as I'm watching it, just kind of like little notes here and there. And right out of the gate, it was this quote from Benjamin Franklin when the movie starts. Justice will not be served until those who are unaffected or as outraged as those who are. And that's one thing I kind of you stop and think about it for a second. Justice will not be served until those who are unaffected are as outraged as those who are. A good quote. I like it. I like the way it started. So the storyline to the whole thing is basically what it comes down to is this like serial killer type person apparently is kidnapping people. Women are disappearing. Can't find them. No trace of them. And this is a British movie, kind of like in the UK type thing. And so they have given this particular person who they don't know who it is the name of the Pied Piper. So when it all starts off, you kind of get this shot of this girl, and she's like, and you tell she's locked up in this like this, I don't know, old building looking thing, old barn type thing, like little wooden plank walls or whatever. Got a bed sitting there, and this person comes in. He's all, kind of bundled up looking, big coat, big jacket, gloves, little mask over his face. Can't really see shit but his eyes type thing. And he comes in there, and so when it kind of starts, that's what you're seeing. And she's kind of like apologizing. The next thing you know, he kind of grabs her up, and then he kind of like stabs her type thing. And basically, kind of like chains her up, like kind of hangs her almost, put a chain around her neck, kind of hangs her, stabs her to where she's like bleeding out. She's going to die type thing. So right off the, I'm interested. It's got my attention kind of right out of the gate because, here we are. We got a little, it's decent. Girl gets kind of snatched up, a little knife in the side type thing. Like, okay, you got my attention now. Here we go. And then it kind of kicks into where the main character, we get a girl named Eve. They're riding down the road, her and her boyfriend. And apparently Eve is going to meet this teacher. She is a like a musician that plays the is it called a cellist? My high school diploma from South Carolina, people, damn it. I don't pronounce things just right. Plays a cello, whatever that big guitar looking thing that stands up on it. You kind of stand it up and they kind of play it like a violin, but it's like 6 fucking foot tall. That's the thing. So is that a cello? She said cellist. Okay. But a gentleman jack break. Now, so she's going to meet this guy. Apparently he's some instructor going to help him And you don't really know if it's like, is she ever like met this person? Did she just fucking Craigslist his ass and find some random like, hey, looking for some guy to help me play the cello? And somebody hits her back and be like, yeah. And so the plan is boyfriend drives her out there to like this little hole in the wall, little cafe type thing. And it seems like it seems like it's kind of out there in the sticks a little bit. And so I'm like, he drives her out there, and the plan is for her to like meet with this guy. And if everything goes good, like is like she's auditioning for something maybe, or maybe auditioning for him to let her be a part of his little celloisting group, maybe to teach her. I don't. That's kind of what I picked up. Like he's like maybe she thinks he's some big wig that can get her to the big times or something, and so she's just gonna meet this guy. And here we are meeting at this little cafe. Now I'm thinking to myself, if this is like, I would think like this cello player would have a place that he taught said cello lessons, and that you would meet there. Like maybe he's got like a little, a little studio or something. Or if he is normally teaching people, he's got like a little studio you'd meet him at. But no, this guy, hey, through Craigslist, just meet me at this little hole in the wall cafe and we'll talk there. Well, then the boyfriend pulls up with her in the car, basically she's explaining to him what's going on, and so I'm sitting there going, I'm like, I know the boyfriend's not going to leave. Like, it's a cafe, maybe you could go in there and she can have her meeting. You can sit over there and get you a cheeseburger or something and just hang out while your girl is talking to this random person that she's just going to meet in this little fucking cafe thing. But nope. Old boyfriend basically going to a little drop and drive. I'm going to drop you off here. I'm going to drive off. I didn't really understand what the plan was. I didn't know if it was going to be like a short temporary thing. They're going to be gone. They're going to be meeting for like an hour or so. He's going to run off to go make a little Home Depot run or something. I don't know. But he decides to leave. And she's in this little cafe place. And when she goes in there, one of the creepiest things about it was the lady behind the counter. The lady behind the counter is just kind of standing there like a fucking statue. And she's just kind of staring off. And she kind of comes in, and then one thing that I feel sure it would annoy me if I own one of these little cafe type places, I get my business out of people coming in ordering some shit. It would bug me. Like she comes in there and basically saying I got to meet somebody and she's going to kind of pull up a chair type thing. But I'm just like, if you're going to go up in somebody's place of business like that, a little cafe, like, damn it, order something. Get you a cup of coffee. Get you a little piece of pie. Something. But, I would be annoyed if somebody come in, I just got to meet somebody. I'm just going to take up your table space and sit over here. And that's just it. Well, while she's sitting there, he gets what was it? The phone rings at the diner. And as soon as the phone rings, you're kind of sitting there going, oh, I see where this is going. Like, the person's not coming to meet you at this said diner. And phone rings. Of course, it's for our girl Eve. Eve gets up, answers the phone. Apparently, the dude can't show up to the diner. But he's like, hey, apparently he's just like right down the little road right there. He kind of already out in the sticks. And he's just like, hey, I'm not going to be able to make it to the diner. Why don't you gather up your shit and just walk down this little road right here? And I got a building, and at this point for a girl who has obviously never seen a horror movie in her life, it's like, hey, okay, no problem. So she gathers up a little big old cello-y thing and starts walking. You see her walking down the road and she comes to this building. And it's not a building, people. This is a fucking shed out in the middle of the field, kind of like on the side of the road. Like you it was like a little farm type shit. Like at some point there was some goats, some chickens, and some pigs or something running around or something. I don't know. It just looked like a little run down ass building. And here she comes walking, and she looks over and sees it. And I'm like, girl, what are you doing? You could have called the boyfriend back. You know, no, could have called, hey, look, this dude is not going to be able to see me here at the diner. He's asking me to go meet him down the road here. And here is this rundown old barn looking thing that I'm going to go up into now. So she gets to there, she walks up to it. And then another thing that stuck out, and when you see the building, when you watch it, kind of old looking rundown thing, there's a fucking piece of paper kind of like stuck to the door. Just a random piece of paper, like somebody just wrote on it and said some shit about something about students or whatever, it enter or come in the door. So I don't even remember what the hell it said. But there's this piece of paper stuck on there. Just out of the blue, little white sheet of paper stuck there. And I'm just sitting there like, really, girl? Like, you just not a care in the world. Never seen a movie before. Never seen the news, how some shit could go south. Never think to, like, you know, send your boy a text message, call him up or something. He couldn't have got that far. He could have came back. So then when she finally decides to call him, because I guess she gets there and then decides to call him. I think when she's there, next thing you know, somebody comes behind her and grabs her. Daylight, broad daylight, wherever this area it's just not a safe looking space. And so you see something come up behind her, hand around her mouth, grabs her, drops the phone, and apparently he went to answer the phone. And when he answers the phone, you tell he's driving, but he's not hearing anything. Well, then you see the killer thing, whatever the person was that grabbed her, kind of picks the phone up, and you can tell he tried to, like, sees that she had tried to call somebody or had called. But then the boyfriend tries to call it back. And in that moment, I'm thinking, okay, I don't remember what. Oh, Jamie is the boyfriend's name. At this point, I'm thinking, okay, Jamie, you just had a call from your girl. You didn't get it. You answered it and you couldn't hear anything. Then you try to call it back and you didn't get an answer. In that moment, this has to be minutes after you just dropped her off. Minutes. You would think my boy Jamie would have damn popped him a Yui, rolled his ass right back. Now, I will say this. Maybe Jamie did, but it doesn't give you that. The next thing you know, you come out later, it just shows at the police station. Jamie's at the police station. And maybe Jamie did go back. Maybe Jamie went back, spent a few minutes looking around. But even then, I would have been like, why not go back to said diner, Jamie, and realize your girl ain't there? Maybe look around a little bit. Oh, shit, girl's not here. Maybe we call 911, Jamie. Maybe we just pick up, bring them up, and have them come to you. Maybe. I don't know how, I get it. When it comes up, you always see all these shows all the time. Somebody got to be missing for like 24 hours or some shit. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe Jamie did call. Maybe they were like, well, she ain't been missing 24 hours. So, come see us later. But you catch Jamie at the police station. And then we're going to catch our girl. Eve wakes up and she's in that same looking room that old girl was in the beginning. And she's kind of stuck in this little, like, trapped. And, you done been snatched up. Some dude gave you the little, whatever that shit is they put on the rag to knock you out. Was that chloroform or some shit? You ragged you, knocked you out. Now you don't woke up. You're in this random bed, And so when the whole thing gets going, I'm thinking, okay, I was okay with where it was going. I was okay with, like, the fact how when it started, when old girl just kind of wandered off and, the boyfriend, it's a movie. I get it. But it's just how my fucked up kind of, when I watch movies, I'm thinking about funny shit like that. Like, well, damn it, Jamie, why didn't you fucking go back? Why didn't you stay there? I get it. But so, and then you get to see, you get introduced to this Mr. Cochran. And he is a music teacher. So right out of the gate, it tries to get you to think to yourself, okay, this is the guy. This is the guy that is setting this up. He's the one that was pretending to be the cello teacher. And because now here he is with the girl, she's sitting there playing the cello, and he's a fucking hard ass type teacher. You can tell the way he's talking to her. He's talking to her really kind of like old school type, talking down to where, Gen X type generation where you get talked to that way, not like today's. He could have been yelling at somebody's kid like that today, and they'd be sitting there break down crying and shit, wanting their fucking mommy. But he's like talking shit to this girl. Like, he's a hardcore teacher. So you automatically is trying to get you to be like, okay, this is the guy. Like, you already let me know, like, this is the guy you want me to believe is our guy, our Pied Piper guy. Hold on one second, people. Gentleman Jack break. Thank you. Now, so right then I'm thinking, okay, this is going to be the guy who's going to be the dude. So our girl E's back in a little wooden thing, in the little fucking trapped type thing. And while she's in there, she comes to realize that she's not by herself. There's somebody else in there. It's got these like wooden walls, but it's got like the wood plank boards are nailed to the wall, but just enough you can kind of see through it and hear and shit like that. So she starts talking to this. She's not by herself. This girl's in there also talking to her. And this girl, you can tell, has been there for a minute. She's kind of used to the routine. She's trying to explain to her, like, don't make no noise. We're not supposed to be talking. The normal type of rules, I'm assuming, you give when you got people trapped down in a basement or cellar or something like that. Like, don't talk to each other. Don't do none of that shit. So then we get introduced to, I don't remember their fucking names. Let me see if I got it. You get introduced to like the detectives in this thing. And I'm trying to pull it up here, family. Give me a second. And it's definitely okay. DCS Barnbrook is one of them. And then we get DCS Dobson. Those are the two. Barnbrook is like the main guy. He's like kind of like the chief of the police. That's what we call him here. I guess over there it's like detective DCS. I forget exactly how it all worded out. And they're sitting there talking. And it's basically this whole Jamie has now come to the police. He's given this police report. Now, Dobson, she's in there explaining to the police chief guy. She's like, hey, we got this kid out there. And he's basically saying that his girlfriend is missing. And Barnbrook, he's kind of like playing it off. But then next thing, Dobson says some shit about her being a cello player. And then it's kind of like, whoa, another cello player. But then you come to find out that there's already been like a couple girls missing who have been missing. And this is going back several years ago that this Barnbrook main police chief guy, he had tried to catch this guy, the Pied Piper, and apparently thought he had him. Like, he was 100% sure this Mr. Cochran was the guy. And apparently years ago went to this whole thing, tried to accuse him of it. Like, he's the guy that did this. No proof, no evidence, no nothing. So it couldn't stick that this Mr. Cochran was the guy. So now here we are with another cello player's gone missing. And then you start seeing Braun Book, however I said his name, the main police chief guy, and his girl Dobson talking to him. And I will say, when it comes to the acting in this, it wasn't bad. It wasn't great. Some better than others. Like Jamie wasn't a fan. Our girl Dobson, not a fan. The big police chief guy, Brunbook. And I would give off the list of the people. I don't have it pulled up right now, but you can Google it and see who played everybody. But there was one part of it, though, it was, and right then, when I started listening to the big chief detective guy, when he's talking to her, the way he's acting, like he is so wound up and so sure that this Mr. Conquering guy was the guy. And he's going over talking about like when he tried to get him years ago and it didn't work out. And he was just really over fucking selling it. And it automatically made me think when I'm watching it, I'm like, this guy's trying too hard. Like he's trying too hard to like he's trying to convince her that it's this Conquering guy. And I'm sitting there going, am I getting the vibe already that this is the guy? This is the Pied Piper right here. Because he's trying too hard. He's trying like to convince her, like trying to push her eyes over here. That whole game, like, you know, that like, look over here what I got in my left hand. Watch. Because if you got your attention over here, you're not seeing what I'm doing over here in my right hand, you know. And another thing, you know, on here, family, I told you I make jokes. I talk about shit. As I'm watching the movie, shit pops in my head. In this moment, if you watch this movie, you get this part where these two are talking, where you get to the big chief guy and you get Dobson, and all of a sudden there's a part where they do a really close up of Dobson, of her face while he's still talking, and some of her facial expressions to me was like it almost seemed like she went into the boss's office, and the boss was like trying to cop a feel, and you can tell she doesn't like it. It's like while he's talking and the things she's saying to her, her facial expressions look like she's doesn't like it. And I'm like, why does it look like if you just muted his voice and you knew it was just him in there and her in there and you started just watching her face, it's just like it's like she wants to be like, no, big chief guy, don't touch my titties. I don't want it. I don't want you to touch my titties. But it's like her facial expressions were just in that moment. I'm like, why does she look like that? Why is she making that face? It's like he's doing something to her that she doesn't like. But it's like, and it doesn't help that he's got this fucking dirty looking look to him, to where like he would be one of those types that would just be like, you know, get over here and sit on my lap, girl. You know, one of those every time she walks by, I got to slap her on the ass, you know, make some comment about her or got some fucking nickname for her. You know, he just looks one of them dirty, fucked up type guys. But it was just funny when I seen her face. Like, why is she making that face? Like it's like she's at the desk and he's trying to diddle her or something like that. And she don't fucking like it, but she won't say nothing. But so right then, I'm already thinking like this has got to be the guy, because he's trying too hard. But then we go back, we catch the girl. Eve is trapped in this thing, and apparently you come to find out that this dude has the girls there, and he wants them to play the cello. Maybe he gets off on it. Maybe he wants them to perfect playing the cello. Maybe hearing the cello gets his dick hard, and that's what he pleasures himself to, is watching the lady play the cello. Maybe that's hey, judgment free zone here, people. Whatever gets you, if that's your thing there, bad guy, you know, sound of a cello, watching the lady strum it with that little big bow thing across them strings. If that's what gets your nut off, man, hey, you do you, boo-boo. But so he's got him there, and apparently there was already a girl in there prior. Now she's no longer there, which was the girl you seen killed in the very beginning of it, you know. And apparently she was stubborn. She was hard-headed. She wouldn't go with the flow like the girl next door to our girl Eve, who said she had been there 14 fucking years. This girl tells her, like, Eve asks her, like, how long you been here? Like, how many days you been here? And the girl's kind of like, days, bitch. I've been here 14 years. At 14 years, no. I would not put up with that shit. I would have been like, you know, fuck this. Because you don't really ever know what all the dude, the Pied Piper, is doing to them. You don't really know. You know, he kind of slaps them around, apparently. He slaps them around. And there's a part where you find out, like, one of the girls is pregnant. And so he's beating her to, like, get rid of the baby. But I'm just like, was he fucking her? Was he, like, raping them? That's what knocked her up. So is this whole thing, like, I want to set you down. I need you to play that cello. I'm all good, hot and horny, and then I'm gonna fuck you. And then maybe was that his thing? But apparently, one girl been there for like 14 years, and the girl prior, the one that died in the beginning, she was very stubborn. She was one of them like, I got to get out of here. She was hard headed, fought him every step of the way, and eventually he kills her off. Well, you come to find out that over this time, you don't really know. I don't really know how long she was there, but she had started like collecting some things. There was times where he would like take her upstairs, let them go upstairs. I don't know what they did upstairs, but and she had started collecting things. But the lady next to her knew that she was collecting some things, that she had stolen some stuff from upstairs and she was doing something, but she didn't know the girl died before all that came out. So she doesn't really know. Well, Eve comes to find what was going on. Apparently, our girl that died before was taking some stuff. She was making her a plan to get the hell out of there. She wasn't going to just roll over. This girl was like prison breaking, man. She'd collect her some shit, and she was working on digging her hole, getting out there. And that was the whole thing. And one of the things that with this movie that it is more of a horror thriller type thing. I wanted more of the killer, because it starts off pretty decent. I wanted more of the Pied Piper guy to be a little bit more rough. I wish they could have done more with that, because at about this point in the movie, this is about the time where everything you start to kind of figure out, like, okay, this guy, he's kidnapping these girls, he likes to play the cello. Apparently the fucking police over there suck, because Jamie, the boyfriend, he's going out trying to make moves and trying to track shit down because he feels like the police ain't helping. And so it's just, I wanted some more time with the killer guy and the ladies. I wanted to be a little bit more hardcore, maybe. I would have liked to know a little more what was going on down there in the barn basement or whatever. Everything was off screen pretty much. Like, there was time when he would go into those other girls. It was like 3 of them down there, and you'd hear them like slap them around or fighting them, whatever. And it was just, everything was kind of off screen. Then it just started slowing down for me. Probably about the halfway point in this thing, I caught myself. And one of the worst things when I'm watching a movie that I don't like is I don't want to get bored. I don't want to get where I'm just like, I just felt like I'm kind of just dragging. And that's where I got with this one, about a little over halfway probably. It was it was just taking, everything was just, I don't know. It was just, I got bored. That's all. I don't have no fancy words to explain it, people. Everybody grab your drinks real quick. Jim and Jack break. I have no words, but I got bored. I'm not gonna lie. And I got certain things started kind of annoying. And when I get bored, I get annoyed sometime. And then certain things started annoying me. And then I started thinking about things that had already happened in the movie. Like, well, why did it do that? Or why couldn't it have done that? Like, there's times where something's going on. Like, there's a one part where like the Pied Piper guy grabs one of the girl, and I think it was Eve, and she kind of grabs her, and he kind of grabs her like by the throat and kind of picks her up, and you can tell that it's so fake looking, to where it's like the hand just barely goes around her throat, And there's another part in it where Jamie confronts Mr. Conquering, and same thing, you gotta go, throws his hand around his throat like he's gonna do something, but it just looks so, just like he lays his hand up there, And I'm just like, little things like that, I feel like it could have just went a little harder. Like, you could have sold me on somebody getting choked, like throw them hands around the neck and lock down on it for a second, you know, just to kind of make it look more real. And little stuff like that, I just that's just kind of easy in my opinion to do. It's like, hey, you're gonna grab him by the throat, and when you grab her, I need you to like kind of really put your hands on there. But then kind of have the reaction to it really wasn't there, and you'd get that whole little like that little moment of like surprise when it would happen. But I guess I kind of would have kind of kept my attention more if there was a little more went on down in that basement. To where I wanted it to be scarier. I wanted it to be a little darker, a little just, it was just missing something for me. And because there's a part where he wants Eve to play for him, and you don't really know exactly how long this time goes by that she's down there, but there's a part where he wants her to play, and he tells her that she's going to play, and even the girl next to her was like, hey, he's going to want you to play or whatever, but you never really know what all goes into the playing, what it leads to. I don't know. But the part where he finally going to get her to play, he apparently kind of like knocked her out. And he had set everything up in her little room where she's at. And he's got the mood set, people. This is where I said maybe he got his jollies off on this, because the mood is set in this little room that he has her trapped in. He got little candles lit, little candle opera, whatever you call them things, candles lit. He's got the little stand with the sheet music on it. He's got the big old cello thing. He's sitting there. And she kind of wakes up. And he basically tells her, like, play. And the moment I knew that this old girl was going to make it, I knew she was going to make it. Because when he said play, she sets up, grabs the bow thingy, and she starts playing that cello. She's sounding good. She's playing it now, and then I'm thinking, okay, this is a badass lady right here, because she's got in her mind like, you ain't gonna break me. I want to get through this, because maybe a lot of other people in that situation just woke up. You looking around, you got a guy with this mask on, all this shit on. You don't know what's gonna happen. You wake up in a room with some candles lit, creepy ass shit, and he tell you to start playing. I feel sure a lot of people out there are going to be kind of nervous. You're going to be kind of shaking. You're going to grab that bow and you're going to go start playing. It's going to be like, it's not going to sound good. You're nervous. You're worked up. You don't know what's about to happen. But our girl, she set up. She grabbed that stuff, started sawing away on it. She was playing. Sound good to me. I'm like, okay, she's going to make it, because this dude ain't shook her yet. She ain't shaking. She's like, you want me to play, motherfucker? I'll play. But then she hits one point, apparently made a mistake. He doesn't like it, gets upset. And then I'm like, oh shit. Now he's mad. Now he about to we're about to see kind of how bad this guy is. Like, he's going to rough her up a little bit, dude, or something. But then he kind of walks over and he has like the police stick, the little police baton, whatever you call that thing, like a little police stick. And he like hits her, like kind of like in the back shoulder, on her back, hits her with it. And her girl don't even really move. She makes the little face of like, I remember when I was little, mom would hit you so hard and you hit that silent scream, it would start out with sound and it would just stop. It'd be like, wah! It like put a pause in you when mama would hit you sometime. And she kind of had that look, like he hits her with a stick. She kind of like hardly even flinches. And I'm just like, man, I said, in that part right there, he could have let it, if he could have just roughed her up a little bit more to make it just seem like this dude is sick. He's fucked up in the head, and he just kind of pops for one time with a little police stick thingy. And then he walks out, and when you go and you see a watermelon sitting on the table and a couple oranges or something, and he just starts beating the shit out of this watermelon, like bust this watermelon up. And I'm like, what are we hitting the watermelon for? Well, apparently that was his. When he gets done, he was like, next time that's gonna be your head. And that was kind of it. Like 30 seconds of smashing up a watermelon and shit, and then be like, next time that's gonna be your head. And I'm like, man, that part right there would have been a good part, in my opinion, to just, snatch her ass up when she fucking don't hit that cello just right. He could reach over, grab her by the back of the head, snatched her up, throw her against the wall or something like that, and be just like, bitch, I told you to fucking play the cello. Because he didn't come across as scary. He had like this little box that changed his voice, that made it sound really deep. And he just never come across as like scary and twisted, because everything else you would hear him in the part where he was like slapping the girl around next in the next room, but you would just hear it. She'd be yelling or whatever. But I was like, he just didn't give off like that, like really scared, gonna put the fear of God in you when I snatch you up off that bed, woman. If you strum that bow one more wrong string, that's gonna be your ass. He could have just something that made him seem more violent, but it didn't. And after that, I was kind of like, really? Like, come on. And at this point, like I said, I'm getting bored with it. And as it starts kind of unfolding, you start realizing that, that little feeling I had when the Spidey senses went off earlier with the big chief detective guy, where you're thinking like, this dude's trying way too hard to push our attention toward Cochran. And when it all starts kind of unraveling and everything's kind of like coming down on him, and I'm sitting there like, then I start seeing the little twist to it. But for me, by the time it started getting toward the end with the twist to where, everybody comes to find out that it wasn't Mr. Cochran, it was big chief detective guy, who was the guy that had kidnapped these girls and killed off the one, because apparently there was like 3 girls missing. One was dead, one in the beginning, because they ended up finding the body. He tries to set up Mr. Cochran by burying the body in his little garden out back. So he's trying to set him up, because because they did do things earlier on in the movie to kind of like make you think that there's something in that garden, because Mr. Cochran was real picky of his garden, didn't like nobody coming in it, especially dogs. But it did try to push you toward thinking, okay, something's got to be in that garden. And the whole thing where he like sets him up, and it's like, okay, but it fell short for me, even toward the end when it's trying to unravel and everything's kind of peeling back the onion. You're figuring it all out. Jamie, the boyfriend, out policed all of them, in my opinion. Jamie was looking like he went and tracked down this Mr. Cox, who was kin to one of the girls that went missing. He went and tracked this guy down. This guy's giving him some info. And then Jamie's get some more dirt, where Jamie ends up at the spot to where she went missing. He ends up there. He's done some police work. Everybody else in the fucking police force would be ashamed, because this old boy Jamie just out policed all of you. And it probably didn't help none that your fucking dirty ass chief was probably directing everything away from it anyway. But yeah, and probably the coolest part in the movie to me was the part where, because it surprised me when it first happened. There's a part where Eve is kind of going at it with the Pied Piper, and she's basically telling him like, I'm not going to do what you tell me to. It's not going to happen. And he kind of grabs her, Another one of those times where he kind of like barely puts his hand around her throat or whatever. He pulls out a knife. And then he stabs at the board beside her head. Stabs her board. The knife is stuck right there next to her head in the board. He then lets go and walks out. And I instantly got like, what the fuck? Like, this idiot just tried to stab her, trying to scare her, but leaves the knife in the board. I said, who the fuck does this? This is stupid. But then he kind of walks out. But then she kind of grabs that knife. And I'm like, oh, really? But then you see him come back in. As soon as he walks back in there, because he didn't lock the door, nothing, like lock her back in there when he left. He literally just walks out. So she's got the knife now. And I'm like, this dumb fuck is just going to, this is it? Well, he comes back in there. Well, she takes that knife and she stabs him. And then he falls on the ground. She just starts stabbing him and stabbing him. And I'm like, what the hell? Well, then coming to find out, next thing you know, Pied Piper dude comes walking up and basically tells her, like, this is all your fault, Eve. I'm like, oh, what the hell's going on? But then she pulls the mask off of this dude. And the Pied Piper guy had caught her boyfriend, Jamie. Gagged Jamie. Put him in the same little outfit. Sent him into that room after he put that knife in there. So that whole little thing was kind of staged. Like, put the knife in there, send Jamie in there. She kills Jamie. That part was, that's probably the coolest little twist to it that I like, that I didn't see coming. That surprised me. But, and so when it gets down towards the end of it, he comes back. Toward the end, it basically it lets you know that, okay, this big chief guy is the bad guy. He's the Pied Piper. Comes back down there because they try to like make it be a surprise for you. Because when he gets to the barn, there's toward the end of it, he basically has this tip that Dobson, she figured out where this little shed was. And so he decides he's going to go check it out. So he goes, gets him a gun, goes down there. And when he walks in, he hears a noise. And as soon as he walks in, he is not making any sound. And our girl, Eve, is not making any sound. But at this point, she knows to not make any noise when he shows up, because he's basically threatening her lately. He basically was like, if you're going to be hard-headed, if you're going to be the one that gives me a hard time, I'm just going to go next door and beat the shit out of this old girl because you gave me a hard time. If you want to make noise, I'm not going to whoop your ass. I want to go over here and whoop her ass. And so, but when he goes down there, he's kind of like walking around. And I'm thinking at some point he would say, if legit Popo would make the comment like something to like, I don't know, British police, detective so-and-so, like something, but he makes no sound. He's kind of walking around. And that's the kind of point where it kind of unveils to you that he's the guy, because he pulls out his little voice box, starts talking to Eve and shit like that. Because what happened is Eve eventually escapes. Eve may not have escaped if the part where he comes in there and she pulls her little weapon on him. Apparently all the little tools and shit that old girl before had been storing, Eve found them. Eve made her this little digging looking tools, what it looked like. And she tried to kill him with it. Well, then he throws her on the bed. When she tries to come out, she pulls this little killing blade thing out, and he kind of stops her with it, throws her on the bed, and then kind of drops it on the floor and then walks out to go get something or something. I don't know. But just left her there with that killing tool digging thing. And then when he comes back, she's gone. Apparently the old girl before had overheard that underneath or around that area, there was some sewers that ran out wherever. So her plan was she was digging to get through that wall to get to wherever this underground sewage thing was and escape. But that's eventually what our girl Eve does, because killer guy comes back in there and he picks up the digging tool and a piece of paper after he sees there's a hole in the wall. And then the paper is basically a letter from the lady who died earlier that she had left. But basically, if you're reading this, then, you know, I'm dead, but I was trying to escape, and, you know, you need to try to escape and go stop this monster type thing. So that's basically what happened. Eve has survived, gets through the hole, but then when our Pied Piper guy sees that, he knows the gig's up. When he sees the letter and everything, he knows that the gig's up. Because she is now out calling 911, I'm assuming. And so he just kind of sits down, and all of a sudden now you start hearing the sirens in the background pulling up, and he just sits down, pulls his pistol out, and I'm like, all right, this dude, he ain't going down. He's not going to be caught. His, you know, reputation is definitely ruined now. Here you are, the big chief popo guy, and now you're the fucking killer. So you knew he was not going to get caught. And one of the parts at the end where the police are moving in on this thing, they're all outside. You know, they got their guns drawn. They're moving in. Dark outside. It shows like three of them moving toward the door. And about the same time, it's showing our dude, Pied Piper dude, big chief police guy, put the pistol to his head. They're going to pull the trigger. He's going to kill himself. Got it. You know, do us all a favor there, big chief. Pulls the trigger. But then when he pulls the trigger, it shows the policeman outside the door. When the trigger is pulled, bam, gunfire. They don't fucking flinch. They just standing there. I'm like, it would have been, put some kind of reaction into it right there. Let them be like, you know, let me hear somebody, shots fired, something. Let them a little flinch, maybe go duck for some type of cover. No, they just stand there. Don't know where that bullet came from or where the shot came from, but they just kind of stand there. You know, at least let it be some type of reaction. Like, here you are, dark nighttime. You've already been told the dude's got a gun. They knew. Like our girl told them. Like when the police got there, she's like, hey, he's got a gun. They knew. So when that gunshot goes off, have a little reaction, a little bob to the side, a little, you know, look around, a reaction. A little like, oh shit, where the hell that come from? Nothing. Just silence. They don't flinch. Then the next thing you know, you see the sheet of music on the floor, blood running on the sheet of music, credits roll. And that's it. You get the twist. It was the cop. And yeah, it lost me, like I said, a little over halfway when I started getting bored. It kind of lost me. And usually it's hard to get my attention back sometime, you know, to get back into a movie. And because then after I get that way, I just start picking out little shit that annoys me. And so, yeah, this one, it started off good for me, and it just kind of fell flat for me toward the end. You know, it was just, yeah. And I rate them all, people. It's either a fuck, marry, or a kill. But for me, I'm definitely, I got to kill this one. And a kill for me, family, is like the sea donkey, the one night at the club, met it, took it home, tried it, woke up the next day, snuck out the door, hope you never have to see it again. That's what this movie was for me. It's a kill. I'm not mad I watched it. It's a horror movie. I love watching horror movies, and independent. I'd never seen it. And so I like the fact that I get to watch them, but I watched it. I'm not going to watch it again, but I'm sitting here telling you all to go watch it. I want everybody to go watch it. Have your own opinion of this movie. And hey, don't listen to me just, you know, talking and my opinion. Just, don't ever listen to me and think, man, I don't want to watch it now. I want everybody to go watch it. I want everybody to go show some love, especially the independent films. Go show all the love. And but yeah, I'm super excited that it was recommended through Instagram for me to watch it. Like I said, I'd never heard of it, and I am super thankful that someone reached out and recommended it for me to watch and talk about. And yeah, I wish more people would reach out, recommend something to me to watch, and I'll watch it. If I can find it, I'll watch it. But yeah, I appreciate the chance to watch it and get on here and talk about it. I have fun talking about it. I want everybody to go watch this movie, have your own opinions of it. Let me know what you think of it. Swing by in the comments. I appreciate it. I appreciate everybody who sits around long enough and listens to me, drink and talk shit and talk about movies. I appreciate it. That's Gentleman Jack break. But yeah, overall, this one's a kill for me. But like I said, not sorry that I enjoyed watching it. I enjoyed getting a chance to watch a movie I'd never seen. So yeah, go show some love, go show some support for independent, and swing by, let me know what you think of the movie. I think that's pretty much going to wrap it up for this episode, family. I appreciate y'all hanging out. I appreciate the love. I appreciate, anybody that follows along with this shit show. I appreciate it. Hope everybody has a good week. Be on the lookout for what's coming next. Already kind of gave you a heads up about the next 2 movies that's probably going to be out this week. But yeah, go like, subscribe, go follow along with the shit show. Be part of us, our little fucked up family. But yeah, that's it. That's going to be a wrap for this episode, family. You all know the routine. You all know what to do. This is that part of the episode, family, where I need you all to reach over. I need you to gather up all your shit. I need you to grab your drinks. I need you to put your chairs away. And I need y'all to get the fuck out of here.
What's your favorite scary movie?
We have such sights to show you.
Monsters!
All you have left is my desire.
My name is Frankenstein!
You've got Mars!
No tears, please. It's a waste of good suffering.
See this? This is my boomstick!
I ate his liver with some fava beans. I screamed.
This mess.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
It's alive! It's alive!
Here's Johnny. I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm just gonna bash your brains.
There are certain rules that one must abide by in order to successfully survive a horror movie.
Welcome to the debauchery.